Hey YouTube, we have actually prepared a video about something called dream invocation. So we call it the untapped circle, meaning dream interference, or better said, dream invocation. Usually in any form of spiritual practice, calling upon is forbidden. Logic, right? Nonetheless, the higher spirit of oneself has not at any of cancelling momentary attendance all of no common to a cray or tailed, meaning it doesn't really tell us all that is of no. Spirit, when and especially interacting with your higher spirit, causes usually something that really tailors away everything that you have of no. Like knowledge is infinite, yes, but difficult there. It's exactly that point where truth is at very best only rarely known further than a known truth. So common technique is writing a letter at midday, right? So you write about something that gives you some sort of coordination or guidance, and you have a time for that, and then write a letter at midday, or something like that, eh? Yeah. So usually a person in art to create a room of calm in the mind uses meditation of fellow sighting or called walking a sense, meaning draft to imagine or in symbolizing any meaning. That results to invoke a dream, meaning you then have something like anything that is not yet, has not yet formulated any chord or silent in dice. But instead of citing a sense of virtue by perceptive invade, the user now does something else to invoke the dream. Meaning the person doesn't write a letter, it doesn't use words, it doesn't to create this calm and this, how I want to describe it. You don't use called walking sense, meaning your boundary to the world should not be of much relevance, not to people, but to world, ideas, things, or something like that. Meaning meditation in fellows sighting, room of calm in the mind, usually works by this to hold any idea and then let it guide. But in this idea we want to go a usual way that I like and don't search for guidance, but rather try to achieve it. Instead of citing a sense of virtue by perceptive invade, the user therefore asks the higher self for a symbol. We do this by interacting with any comforting, meaning anything that is not of comfort to any of our needs in the higher spirit, and for that ask that a part of us to not fall away, and either also don't take any of the rest of spirit, and for that then, while being still stable, give a symbol, something that at the moment is of importance. This can either be by direct knowledge of what the higher spirit is thinking and utilizing it, or just by knowing yourself and your own higher spirit and interacting with it. It's not much of matter. According to that which is, not is ought to be a sainted, no, at the sainted road. So, a little bit weirdly formulated, but to that we now, try not to understand at that where usually something will be of any sort where the encapsulating meaning would be not, but there would be a new idea like a pathway. So, a river not at the side, but still at night time, it always in Cantor Titus the Fellowed. No. Now, a calm of Om needs to be at malevolent dismeditation. It's also called silence. It's not too difficult to reach. You meditate the silence to an Om. Not on the Om, but till that same idea is of the silence, the darkness. But not necessarily darkness, just silence. Or calm. But don't think a thought, not even the Om or any idea to it. Best spoken somehow wrongly. From that silence nothing can, for from that silence nothing is. So Z, don't become the silence, but find a moment at when it stops and break a noise. If you have still at least thought of the symbol at novice, you should have realized a moment or thought of any like these. While breaking the noise, you usually at then skip a second. Don't think backwards, but regard it as something that is now of the symbol, meaning the noise that usually would be realized and would be known. Don't think from there. Think from the moment where you understand that the noise is now has skipped a second. And then think backwards. But don't regard it as something of that second, that noise, the symbol. Just think backwards. But instead let your thought spin backwards till it arrives at either noise broken, moment renown, or second crossed. Meaning, moment renown. That is a difficult idea, because with that silence, that second, that idea to even stop that calm, there's usually something that is of remembrance, that something has led you to a decision. And that usually results in something like a moment renown. And that's difficult to explain, but always different for everybody. So in this idea, it could be when you decide to understand future, when the thought would spin backwards. Fine. Let your spirit howl to that while forgetting the symbol till you have arrived back at either of previous mentioned steps. So to still not forget the symbol, you might remember it with another sound, word, or breath. In case nothing happens, inscribe a number to the noise and associate with any step. Result: surrounding your mind, a blend of projectile-like images should make a blur appear almost like fog. Now eradicate the images at best, spoken somehow, and then step away from them to the blur, and a kind of room in spirit should form that is of calm. Thank you for listening.